of Steven Universe X Dragon Ball Z Part 3. Steven and the Crystal Gems are at Capsule Corp, where they find a spaceship. And they all get inside and begin traveling to Namek. Steven and the Crystal Gems begin training intensely for many days until they eventually arrive at planet Namek. They all head out of the spaceship and Garnet's like, look for the locals now. Meanwhile, Vegeta has arrived to Namek, but he's suddenly confronted by Kui. He's like, hey Vegeta, you suck! Vegeta has killed Kui. But then Dodoria shows up and he's like, hey Vegeta, I got these Dragon Balls from the village we raided, and I ain't giving you any. Vegeta, you are no match for me. Not like this. Didn't even hurt. Vegeta eventually finds the village, and all of the villagers are confused. Vegeta's like, give me the Dragon Balls, and they're like, no. So Vegeta kills him and flies off, looking for me. He encounters Nail, and he's ready to fight, as he charges in, but he gets knocked back. Back to the Crystal Gem. They find a raided village. Steven's like, what happened here? Suddenly a Namekian says, take this. I've been hiding it, and he hands him a Dragon Ball. But suddenly Vegeta flies onto the scene, and he's shocked. He didn't expect the Crystal Gems to have a Dragon Ball with them. He gets angry and he's like, give me the Dragon Ball or out! Or you're what? The Ginyu Force has arrived to Namek, and they all surround Vegeta before jumping in. They have a fierce fight, and Vegeta ends up winning. He's heavily injured, and he's like, give me the Dragon Ball now! Frieza has killed Vegeta, and he's like, that's enough. Steven and the Crystal Gems hand over Vegeta's body, where they face an angry Frieza. As he charges it, Steven blocks that shit. And then Garnet punches Frieza back. Frieza gets angry and he's like, how dare you! As he takes off his armor, and then he begins to power up and transform into a second form. Steven and the Crystal Gems are horrified at the transformation. Frieza's like, get ready. As he explodes them upward, and flies up to knock Steven to the ground. But Garnet fires her gauntlets at Frieza, and he's shocked and gets hit in the face directly. He's like, oh, you've done it now. And he begins to power up, and then transform into a third form of Frieza. He fires his dead beams at them non-stop, and then shields him from the barrage, and then he drops a Steven shield at Frieza. Frieza begins transforming into his final form. Finally, he appears. And Steven and friends are terrified at the power. Frieza's like, it's time to die. He fires his death beam. But Steven blocks the beam, and then Frieza charges at Steven, striking his shield. Frieza hits the shield multiple times until he swipes from below, grabbing Steven with his tail, holding him by the neck. He holds him tightly and painfully. Garnet fires her gauntlets at Frieza, but he manages to catch and deflect them before firing back his ki blast, knocking Garnet away. And then he teleports and grabs Amethyst and blows her away point blank. Then he teleports and fires once at her, but she kicks him away. Then he fires a massive blast at her, knocking her out. He's just like, I beaten your friend, as he hovered the gems over his hands. Steven cries out for his friends, and he's like, no! Suddenly Nail shows up, and he's like, Guru told me to protect the planet when he died, so I gotta stop you! Frieza has killed Nail. Steven holds Nail's body in sadness and in rage. Steven has awakened into Pink Steven. He's filled with rage, while Frieza is shocked at the revelation. He's like, I will not be bested by a gem! Oh! Frieza's punched by Steven. Steven vows to defeat Frieza as the two clash. Meanwhile, the crystal gems are reforming back into their bodies and they eventually emerge. The fight is getting intense. Frieza is in his full power state. He starts preparing his attack, his body glowing red and very powerful. He readies himself as both sides charge at each other, causing the whole planet to shake, until eventually it erupts. Namek has been destroyed. Steven is devastated at the destruction. He's like, damn you, Frieza! As he charges at Frieza, he strikes him in the face, knocking him to the ground. But then Steven realizes there's no point in continuing the fight, because the fight was already over. He depowers and walks away, leaving Frieza stunned. But Frieza's like, where are you going? He charges his Death Slasher and throws it, only for it to be blocked by his shield. Steven is furious now. He gathers his power and throws his demon shield, cutting Frieza in half as he drops to the floor. Frieza has been defeated, but suddenly he's like, please, mercy! The planet is about to explode any second now, and suddenly Steven gives Frieza a bit of his energy. Frieza is awake now, and Steven's like, don't hurt anyone ever again, as he leaves. Frieza's like, no, I am Lord Frieza, and you must die by my hand! Fires a blast at Steven. Steven turns around and sees the blast coming for it, but then brimming with rage as he's like, you fool! Steven flies through the blast, readies his fist, and defeats Frieza once and for all. Steven is sad that he couldn't save Frieza, but then the crystal gems reunite with Steven. Garner's like, we need to head to the spaceship now. They rush towards the spaceship with the Dragon Balls in hand, and then they escape right before Namek explodes. They have arrived at Capsule Corp and they summon Porunga with the Dragon Balls. He appears in the sky and he's like, state your wish. Steven steps up and tells him his wishes. Consider it done. Namek is brought back. The Namekians are alive again. Steven's like, teleport yourself to Namek. Wait, what? Porunga has returned to Namek and the sky clears. The crystal gems have saved another world, but who will save them in the future?